voice of Backgammon. It's Larry Shiller. I'm here with Marty Storer.
Ho
We're
ho.
broadcasting live the Consolation Finals of the Connecticut State Championships. Karen Davis is at the bottom. Boris Dakhtyar is on top. They're taking their final sips, and I think they're ready to go.
He agreed to the deal, so you guys can play.
So we're waiting for the deal. I'm going to leave this. I just want to mention our sponsor, Gammon Stuff, John Perner. He's got a special running, any 45 millimeter checker boards, and you get a free carrying case. It's a great deal. Mention Voice of Backgammon at gammonstuff.com or give them a call. I mentioned it there. Marty, I'm going to let you do some introductions on the players.
All right. So Karen Davis is is a sort of a perennial winner. She has a lot of good results. She's been playing for a long time. She's on the U.S. Backgammon Federation Board of Directors, and we're starting off. She's on the bottom with the white checkers. Boris Dakhtyar is, I think he might be from New Jersey or New York area somewhere, and he is a perspicacious actuary, I think, in real life, and he's a very good player, and he too has had many good results. So Karen is open. She's split with a 4-1, the standard opening play. Boris pointed on her with a double five, making the 3 and 1 points, and Karen has entered with a 2-5, anchoring up on the 23, which is good now that Boris has a 1 point behind the anchor. Boris cleans up with a 6-1, making the bar point, and now 2-1. Karen is able to make a good point, and she's made her bar point. So kind of an even game. Boris on roll. He's ahead in the race. To that end, he's going to run a back checker. I'm sure he's going to play 24-16, just trying to escape. So he's probably up about 20 pips before the roll. So Karen must think whether she's going to hit on the 9 point, send a second checker back, or very strong plays to make her 5 point. I would be inclined to make the 5 personally, but she's hitting. There's only 5 return shots, and Boris does not roll one of it. It's a 1. It's a 6-1, so it's forced, really. She comes down to the 24 and plays to the 10 point. And now Karen's happy she has the best of both worlds, has 2 checkers back and her 5 point, making it with a 4-1, 9-5, 6-5. And now Boris urgently wants to split his back checkers and start getting out. It looks like he's rolled another 6-1, so he does split with the ace, but now his back checkers are under some pressure. But Karen doesn't have that many builders in place yet. And with a roll of 3-2, she brings 2 down from the midpoint. And so now she's got a builder on the 10 attacking her 4 point, open 4 point. So a few more numbers to make the point. But that block could be hit, and it is hit with a 6-2. 4 hitting numbers, 6-2, 6-3, and Boris popped a 6-2. Now Karen's on the bar, and Boris is he's made a good start to escaping. Karen fans with a double 6. Every move a cube decision, Boris has got to think about a double. He's got a direct ace shot, but he still looks to me like he's got too much work to do. Even if he hits the ace shot, he's got, Karen's got a good defensive anchor, and Boris has not made his 4 or 5 point yet. And Boris kept the cube in the center. He rolled 6-5, and he played as safely as he could. He played 13-7, a 15-10. Now Karen with a 3-2 from the bar. Must come in with a 2 on the 23 point. With the 3, she can try to challenge and come up, play for a little contact. It's risky for her to do so because, and she does play it. Boris paused a bit, thought about the cube, but did not double. Looks like he's got a 6-3. He could exit Karen's board, leaving 5s and 1s and a few odd, 8s and 7s, and he could make the 4 point and leave his back checker where it is and minimize shots. This way, if Karen does not hit, okay, so he's taking it back, and he's making the 4 point, which I like that play. The 4 point is not easy to make. Now Karen has made her 4 point, and she's bringing a builder in with the third 2. She's thinking about building into the 6, and she's bringing another builder to the 9. which is correct. It pays off to a 6-2. But even then, she might be able to win. So double fours. Boris hits from the midpoint, passes to the 1 point, and plays safely 7-3. Now Karen must think about doubling, but she rolls quick. She quickly rolls 5-2. She comes in the 20, which I agree with, and lifts the builder from the 9 to the 7. And there's a duplication of 2 to come up and 2 to hit. So that's a good play by Karen to come in on the 5 point, not to be stuck on the 23 point. Now double fours, it's forced. Boris loses his 7 point, and Karen is certainly going to double. And I don't think Boris has enough to take this. It's going to be very hard for him to escape. If he doesn't escape, he may have to break his board and leave blots, which may be hit. Then he's at risk of being gammoned. So he's probably just going to pass this, and Karen is ahead in the 9 point match. The consolation matches are 9 points, so each of these players has only lost one time in the tournament. You lose in the main flight before the semifinals, you go down to the consolation, and that's where they are. And they've made their way to the finals of the consolation. So we have a 9 pointer, and Karen leads 1-0. And again with a 4-1, Karen, for the second game in a row, opens with a 4-1 minor split, which is the favored play these days. You no longer much see the slotting the 5 point with the ace. Boris replies to 3-1. It makes his 5 point double fours for Karen. She takes 2 from her midpoint and makes her 5. That's better than making the 4 and 2 because it's fewer blots, fewer shots, and it's more pure. She doesn't make the deep 2 point. Now Boris has rolled 5 something. I can't quite see the other number. No, it was what was it? 5-4. It was 5-4, 13-8, 6-2. Okay, so there wasn't any good 4, but maybe 13-9 was better. But Karen has jokered Boris by rolling double twos. She hits, she comes up to the 21, and she makes her 4. Very powerful, but Boris rolls well with a 3-2. Defensive anchor on the 22 is nice. And so it would be, if Karen doubled, it would certainly be a take. Karen rolls another double 2. And she made her 9, came down to the 11, and she's thinking about it. She's thinking about, instead of making her 9, keeping going to make the 7 and leaving a blot on her, direct shot on her midpoint, as well as blots on her 21 and 24. And she chooses that. The solid 5' is definitely a better structure. That open 9 point, or the open 7 point, is a liability in terms of bearing in and in terms of blocking in the middle game. Boris rolls poorly in reply of 6-5, so he's nothing better than leaving a blot on his 2 point, 13-2. He can't afford to break his anchor, and now that Karen judges that to be enough to double, and it looks like Boris is passing that as well. Now that's a little unclear to me whether that should be passed, because Karen does have some work to do to get her back checkers around. But I can't fault the double. It's a good double, and it might be a drop because she has a direct ace shot and some other vig, and Boris would not be a favorite. So now Boris is down 2-0 to 9, and he opens with a 3-2, and he builds on the 10 and 11 point, and that is a good play at the score. Karen rolls 5-1. She could reasonably slot her 5 point to duplicate point making 4s on Boris's side. The 4s could hit on Karen's 5, or they could make a point on Boris's side. So the value of 4's relative value would be diminished. But Karen elects to split, maybe partly because she's ahead in the race, or maybe she just thinks it's a good play. Boris points on her after splitting with a 6-4, and Karen fans with a 6-2. So Boris definitely has an advantage now. He makes the 5 point with a 6-3. If Karen fans, she's going to be doubled, but she rolls a good double 1, so she's off the bar, making the 24 point. She makes her 5 point with 2. She's thinking about she slotted the bar. Oh, that's a big play. Oh yeah, so it's great if it works out, but it's not so great if Boris hits, and Boris does hit with a 6. He's going to safety his outside blots 10-8, I believe. I think it's clearly best to do so. Hitting is better than making the 4, but no, he goes to the 16 point, leaving 3 outside blots. And Karen fans with a 5-2. Yep, and now Boris doubles. It looks like a good double. Boris is behind by 2 in the 9-pointer. He's threatening to make his 4 or 3 point, or failing that, he can make his bar or his 10. You know, and Karen doesn't like it. She gives it up. Now that's maybe it's a little premature because maybe there were only about 9 numbers to make the 4 or 3 point. And Karen owned her 5 point, and she had an anchor on the 24. I think I would have taken that even at the score, but Karen passes. It's 2-1 her favor. So game 4, and Karen opens with a 6-5 and runs to the midpoint. And Boris is going to replies 3-2. He splits to the 21 down to the 11 with a builder. 5-4 for Karen. So it's sort of normal to hit loose on the 4 point, which she does. I've seen some players hit twice on the 4 and 1, which is pretty weak because they stripped 8 point in the blot on the ace. The idea is to give more ways to make the 4 point, but now Boris hits back with a 4-2 and making the 11 with a deuce. And now 5-3 for Karen is mediocre. She comes in on the 3 and reinforces her 8 from the midpoint. So Boris has an advantage, not close to a double, but it looks like he's rolled a double 2, which is very nice. He makes his 4. And he's thinking about making his 9. He makes his 9, switches from the 11 to the 9, making the 4. And now Karen rolls a 6-2, which is not great. She's got the option to anchor on the 22 point. If she does so, then the 6. But she doesn't like anchoring on the 22, so she says, I'm going to run away. 22-14. Probably still no double. Boris doesn't double in a 4-1. He can make either 5 point. He can make Karen's 5 point or Boris's 20 point. Or Boris can just simply make his own 5 point. That's what I would do, especially behind in the match. But no, conservative, very conservative to make the 20 point. Because now Karen can roll and she can dump behind that anchor. The anchor is advanced. So she's got nothing better here than just to play 14 to... Oh, she plays 14-9-6-4. Oh, that's reasonable. It duplicates a 4 to make a point and to hit. Though Boris will hit if he can. And she slots her 4 point and she has her 9 point slotted. So all Boris can do is roll 6-3. Not bad, makes his 3 point. 3-2, 9-4. So Karen has made her 4 point. So she's improved her board. She's cleared a checker without being hit. 5-3 for Boris, not very good. He can't make his bar or his 9 or his 5. So he's going to put a little more pressure on Karen's back checker by going 8-3, 9-6 for builders. And now Karen runs with 6-3. She's got to run. Pottle's law is always run the last back checker. Karen has 1 back checker and she can play 24-15 and 16 shots for Boris. 3s, 2-1, 6-4, 5-5, 6-3 is a hitter. Might be a game winner depending on what Karen rolls. She fans. Maybe she'll be doubled out. Oh, now Boris breaks his 20 point. Oh, this is an error. Okay, that's wrong. He could have played a safe 10-4. There's no need to break the anchor unless you have to. But Karen fans. Boris is doubling, and it looks like he's way ahead in the race. 40, 50, 101, 121 to 140 for Karen. Plus Karen's on the bar, so no take. Boris had a 2-way game plan of attack and race, and that's too much. So now the score's tied. Every game's been 1 pointer so far. This is the 5th game. 2-2-9, 7 away, 7 away, and Karen opens with a 5-2, and she splits to the 22 with the 2. That's the favored opening 5-2 these days. Double ones is great for Boris. He makes his 5, and he's going to split to the 22. Standard reply there. People used to make the 7, but it's too rich because you can be hit by a lot of numbers. And a 6-2 for Karen. Now she makes the 22 anchor, which is good, and then she, instead of leaving a 26 number shot by going 13 to 7 to slot the bar, she leaves an 11 number shot, 8 to 2. The meek 8 to 2 might be right just because you don't want to be hit. Now Boris rolls 6-5 and rolls his forward back checker to the 11 point. Builder on the 11, and he's keeping pressure on the blot on the 2 point. 6-5 by Karen. She goes 13 to 2, covering the blot. So Karen is a bit ahead in the race. I think she's 11 pips ahead before the roll, which looks like a 5-4 by Boris, and he is going to obey Pottle's law and run the last back checker. So Karen can hit. She's got a few fly shots, double 6s, double 4s, and 6-2. She rolls double 5. She improves her board. She makes a 4-point under board. And now Boris can clear his back checker 15 to 6. He must do so because he only leaves 3 shots at the blot on his 11 point. If he, if he gets hit with a direct shot, it could be game over. So he's just going to clear his blot 15 to 6. Karen has 3 shots, a nice double 6, a nice 5-4, a nice 6-3, and 3-1 makes her 5 point. Now she's got a 5-point board with a 4 open. She's ahead in the race. Boris is hoping to make blocking points. He cannot make a new blocking point as bar or 9 or 4. So he's got a 5-1. It looks like he must just play 11 to 5. He could think of leaving 3 shots and playing 13 to 8 and then 6-5. That would keep a few more ways to make the bar. It would give it an extra 6-4 to make the bar, an extra 4-2. He could opt to make the 9, which would be superior to the 4 here because it blocks both back checkers very effectively. But I think those extra shots are they're gammonish for one thing, and if Karen hits and then Boris fans, Karen can play on. So I think he must play just 11 to 5. Oh, no, he's gonna, which he does. No, not yet. He's thinking. He sets up 11 to 5, which is safe for now. Maybe he's counting the race. What is it, 128? Is that 100? It's 128 for blue.